Ladies and gentlemen, business owners and entrepreneurs, thank you for joining me on this very, very special episode of the Broker Insider. Normally, I am on this channel talking to you guys about tips and tricks on how to make your business profile more attracted or more fundable for a bank or a lender to take a look at. I try to make you take proactive steps so that by the time you fill out a an application for working capital, it is excelling expectations. But in today's episode, there's a different twist on the insider. I actually want to bring forward to you someone that we've worked with in the past, and he's been very successful on the endeavors that he's taken on. We've worked with him. It started maybe about 6, 7 months ago. And since then, we've knocked out a couple of real estate deals. Plus, we're currently undertaking the endeavor of raising more capital for him for other projects that he has in mind. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Demetrius, who is probably one of our more successful clients. Bringing him onto this podcast, the Broker Insider, to give you, our audience, the inside knowledge on what it takes, number one, to be successful, and number two, to work with a team like us. So, Demetrius, thank you for taking the time to talk to me, man. How are you doing?
Oh man, I can't complain. As my grandma would say, I'm blessed and highly favored.
Oh, I
Blessed.
love that. I'm gonna have to steal that from your grandma. She doesn't have that copywritten, does she?
Oh no, absolutely not. It's yours. Put it in your pocket.
Stolen.
Put Absolutely.
Happy to
But
hear
yeah,
it, bro.
firstly, I want to say thanks for having me here to kind of share a little bit of one, my background, my story, but also shed a little bit of light on what it's like to work with a group like yours. And in my humble opinion, I'm not sure there is a group like yours out there, but and we'll get into that. But just kind of what I like to do is just do a little nudge. I don't like to feel like I'm forcing somebody to go a certain route or make certain decisions. When someone's interested in something, I just kind of nudge like, hey, I know some guys that can make things happen for you, if you want to discuss it further. So yeah, like I'm excited to share that with people. Hopefully help some people get into whether it's a career field that they want to get into, or they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be in real estate. Kind of show them that it's not as hard. It's difficult, but it's not as much red tape as you think.
Yeah,
That's
no,
how I'll put it.
I completely agree. And first of all, I appreciate the kind words, but there is a level of reciprocity in the relationship, because in all honesty, we've done and continue to do the best that we can to partner with lenders and other resources to get you answers to some of the questions that you have as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
However, I can equip you with all the tools in the world. I mean, I can, if but to put a sports analogy on it, I can deck you out in the very best equipment, the best sneakers, the best shorts, the best jerseys. But if you don't practice,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. If you don't put in the work, it doesn't matter. And I tip my hat to you, because every speed bump that we've come across, every barrier that we've come across in trying to get things done, we gave you a suggestion, you picked it up and you ran with it. So it is probably, the things that you've been able to accomplish are probably more due to your awesome work ethic than it is to anything else that we've brought to the table.
Oh man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, we definitely have been making a really great team. So I'm excited for the stuff that we're working on. Um, I know we've got some stuff going with our acquisition side, like business acquisition side. So we got some things in the work there. So I'm excited, and I'm like I said, I'm with you till the wheels fall off.
Man, I appreciate you, man. So let's jump right into this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm calling this Conversations with Winners. because every client that we work with and has the work ethic that you do, I would really love to bring them on, get some of that broker insider knowledge, so that way we can pass it on to people that may be curious, to people that maybe have that itch, and we are here to scratch it for them. So
Absolutely.
starting right off, can you, again, kind of briefly introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background, and more so your journey into becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so long story short, like most people, I thought I wanted to be in one career field in undergrad and then quickly changed that in grad school. So I ended up getting my master's in business administration. And from there, I worked pretty much any job you could think of. And so with that, I learned a lot of different skills. I learned a lot of just being able to be resilient and work in different angles, trying to solve problems. So grateful for that. But then I kind of got hit with the bug. Like I tell you what did it. I won't say any name, but I'll tell you what did it.
Go
So
ahead.
someone that I know personally, I was 26 and they had been working at a company for 27 years. And then they just kind of they got the boot after 27 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. And mentally that just kind of sealed the deal for me. I already had the entrepreneurial spirit and bug, and I knew I wanted to do more than just what I see on the daily. But when
Okay.
I saw that, I just said, that won't be me. I'll fire myself from my own business before.
Wow.
so
Oh yeah,
so
that's
yeah,
a
so that was a
sad story. That sucks.
yeah, well, it ain't too sad because he immediately got hired doing the same thing somewhere else, and so he's
Okay.
still good.
Okay. Good.
But
Okay.
just thinking about it in the context of, what if he was banking on that, and what if he was banking on the retirement from that business or that company? Yeah, I just didn't like those. I didn't like that lack of control. So I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Probably the first business that I owned and ran was a catering business, but it was kind of um, it was different. It wasn't just like catering food or anything. We catered hookah to different
Okay.
clubs.
All right.
Yeah, so we were at pretty much all of the major clubs here in Oklahoma City. So we did that for about a year and then ran into problems and we weren't able to keep rolling. So we ended up closing the doors on that. But after that, I just knew something was going to click. So I'd managed a hair store. So I knew, okay, I know the health and beauty industry. I know how to generate some traction with a business like that. So in my mind, okay, let me see what I can do with that. So I started a hair company online, and it's been doing fairly decent. But with that, I've also been looking at different avenues to kind of build and to scale that up. So that's how we ended up looking into business acquisition, acquiring other business that are similar and trying to build there. But so after I got hit with the bug, I just kind of went into grind mode, studying everything I could study. I mean, I'm on YouTube University every day. I rarely even listen to music anymore.
Yep.
And
I know
this
that
is coming
feeling.
from, yeah, this is coming from a guy that actually, creates music. And
Oh
so I,
wow.
yeah,
That's almost heresy there, buddy.
yeah. And it's at a different level. Like I've done some pretty gnarly things, in that, industry. But I just knew I wanted a different life, and going with music, it was going to be much more difficult and less seats at the table. So yeah, so I wanted to get into business, and then I stumbled upon real estate. More specifically, this is probably 2017. More specifically, I stumbled into wholesaling real estate because that's the poor man's way into the game.
Right, right. Yep, yep, yep.
So, so I learned everything I can learn there. Got a couple deals done, and then just kind of I ran into a deal that I really, really liked. It was from a mentor of mine. So I really liked the deal. I knew it was a good deal, and I wanted to take it down myself. So I kind of knew I wasn't in a position to really do it, but I said, let's see what I can make happen. What they say in real estate. if if someone tells you no, ask someone else. So
Yes. Yep.
I kind
Hmm.
of had that mentality, and so from there, I stuck with that, and that's kind of where I am today. You know, I got two deals that I'm currently flipping. We're just about done with those. Um, you know, you run into different problems, and as long as you're able to communicate it and solve it and come up with solutions, then you know it's just a part of the game. But I'm working on those two, and then you know we're working on that business we're looking to buy.
Awesome, awesome. Now let's kind of, because that's how we met each other, is your attempt to try to get those deals under your belt.
Yeah.
What you said that you came across that deal because a mentor gave that to you. So what about that deal made it stand out and made it be the one as opposed to just another wholesale deal?
Well, what made it not a wholesale deal for me is because um, at the time I was a little green on joint ventures. And so what I knew was people don't really like to daisy chain. And
Hmm.
so in my mind, I'm like, well, it would be a nice wholesale deal. However, it's already coming from someone who is basically wholesaling it to me. So, and I know it's a good deal to flip. So I don't want to lose the deal, but I also think I can make it happen. So that's how I came to like, let me see if I can actually flip this one and not really look to wholesale it. And the numbers is what made me kind of really want to go after it. You know, where you said, you know, any hurdle I ran into, I just faced it head on, realized the problem, analyzed it, and just kind of started searching for solutions. I mean, from sun up to sundown, I'm at the office just searching for solutions. It was because of the numbers. So as is, it was sitting at around 290, and it needed quite a bit of work. It's more than I knew, busting down some
That's
walls and stuff.
usually
You
what
learn
happens.
things.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You learn things.
Hmm.
But it needed quite a bit of work. But I was getting it for significantly less than what it was worth as is. Um, I was getting it for 190. So that's a whole $100,000 that I can kind of not tinker and toy with, but I can use that to kind of extrapolate and figure out, well, what's my buffer? Like how much can I be wrong, you know, risk management wise, how much can I be wrong before I
And
start
still be
eating into
right.
my yeah.
Yes.
So I felt like it was a good deal there. And then just kind of what I'm looking to sell it for after, I know I'll be pretty good. But yeah, just the numbers on the deal and kind of taking those years to learn the game and to learn the acquisitions part of it, the dispositions part of it. I actually worked as project manager on 3 flips with a buddy of mine. And so I got to understand how to order different things and when to order different things and how to talk with contractors and things like that. So getting all of that experience under my belt kind of prepared me to be like, you know, I can go out and actually flip this one.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, if somebody who's watching this and maybe they've got that real estate bug themselves and are thinking about getting into their very first deal and they're eyeing fix and flips, would you recommend them taking the chance, taking the leap of faith and getting into it? Or would you suggest kind of, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit and kind of take more of a controlled
Mhm.
enthusiasm into the industry and maybe wholesale a deal or two before you get into your first flip?
Yeah, hindsight being 2020, and you know you can't take anything back. So
Always, yep.
hindsight being 2020, I would say definitely depending on how you're starting. So one financially, mentally, things like that. Depending on how you're starting, I would say kind of take it a little bit slower. Um, there's things that I would have done differently on both deals that I learned, and now I'm able to take into future deals. But if you can get the information before, because like I said, I've been on YouTube a lot. I took some courses. Like I've absorbed a lot of information, but there's things that happen throughout the process that no one talks about.
Nobody takes. Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was a surprise. So if you can figure out a way to get that roadmap clear before and then know that you have the components necessary at each step, then I'd say go ahead and jump into it. But if you don't have that knowledge already or the resources already, um, it can be tough. You can still jump into it, but it can be tough. You'd end up really kind of just it feels like a gamble. It feels like you're just calling people to see who would do the deal or who would do the deal mentally. If you're not prepared to have those conversations, it feels like that. So I would just say make sure you have the resources necessary to actually see a deal through before you just say, well, I like it. I'm gonna stumble through it
got
because
it.
stumbling is not fun.
Good advice. No, no, definitely. You want to stay on your feet as much as possible. Now,
Absolutely.
we're also currently working with you to raise some additional capital for some ventures that you've got going on. So, could you share your experience kind of overall in that process, but also kind of larger picture, why are you seeking additional funding?
Yeah, yeah, I won't mind sharing it all. So a long-term goal of mine, uh, as a serial entrepreneur is to build roll-ups in certain industries. And for those who don't quite know what a roll-up is, it's just basically um, combining several businesses or buying different businesses and attaching them to your business or just combining them as like mergers, and they can be vertical or lateral. So if I have a real estate business, I might also have a construction business, or if and bundle all of those together. So that's my goal, and end goal being something totally different when it comes to exits. But that's why I want to raise the money, just because I've come across a few deals that would be good candidates or businesses that would be good candidates for the foundation of this roll up. And the first one, of course, is going to be in the health and beauty because that's kind of where I've been for the past 7 or 8 years.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and so I kind of understand how that flows. I feel as though I could put together some really good strategies for that. Um, and so I came across a deal that it's really hard to pass up. And so I needed to raise some money to make that happen. Um, I guess I won't be too specific, but it's in the health and beauty industry. It's in a really good area in Oklahoma City, close to really close to one of the probably, well, I'll just say, with the Thunder. I don't watch sports. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
But 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 the
Man,
Thunder,
first you're putting down music and now you're putting down sports, dude.
I
Ah,
know
man, what's going on here?
I play basketball, but I just never found the entertainment in watching and learning all the stats. But a lot of the players live in a certain
Area code.
neighborhood.
Got it.
Yeah. And so this business is across the street.
Very nice.
Yeah, and it's a bustling area. So I'm excited to get it. I'm excited that I've met the owners and they're just cool people and they're being extremely patient with the process. Of course, I'm being transparent and upfront with them about everything and how things are going and any setbacks and all of that. So we're rocking and rolling. I'm just ready to raise the money and get in there and make it happen. Because once I get that first foundation, and they already have good systems and processes, but we hone in on those things and make sure that everything's good. Then all we have to do is just kind of plug and play, attaching new businesses. Then we'll get to a certain number and we'll get out of there.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Now, one of the things that I like, especially in the real estate world, a lot of people come in and I'm having the first conversations with them. And what we do is we try to get people set up with project funding and also working capital, depending on their specific situation. And a lot of people, especially those that have been bitten really hard by the YouTube bug, and they're trying to get into the real estate world, they automatically go in searching for private lenders,
Mhm.
private investors. And I'm not against private lending. However, I have found that private lending is more a result of networking and a result of having proof in the pudding. And so if you're trying to get into your first deal, you don't know how to analyze it, you've never spoken with the contractor, you've never purchased anything of as high value as a single family home, for
Mhm.
someone to come in and dig into their pockets and assume all of the risk and just hand you a blank check to go in and try to tackle that endeavor seems kind of almost like a unicorn type situation to me.
Mhm.
So if investors are out there looking for partners, for entrepreneurs that are, ambitious, that have goals, that have parameters set, that have boundaries set, what do you think would make you an attractive candidate for potential investors that either might be watching or maybe are referred to this video? How what would make you an attractive candidate to work with?
Oh, absolutely. The things that would make me an attractive candidate, probably first and foremost, I'm honest. I'm gonna be transparent and I'm gonna be upfront with like communication because
And that,
I've
but sorry,
learned.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
Oh,
that,
you're all right.
guys, I will double down and absolutely agree with Demetrius. I've worked with him for a few months now, and the last thing that or the very first thing that struck me that hard about your personality is how open you are with everything regarding the business.
Hmm.
And that I dude, you have no idea how appreciative I am of that. And for any investor that may be watching out there, this man is as honest as they come. And trust me, believe me, the work ethic is second to none. So I just sorry, man, I didn't mean to cut
Oh,
you
you
off.
good.
I
I
had to
appreciate
double
that.
down on that.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just, it's best practice. I mean, aside from being, a Christian, it's just best to get all the cards on the table. If someone's coming to help you. Now, if it's competition, okay, I'm not going to tell you everything, but or if it's someone that I feel like they're not really here to help me, then okay, I'm not going to just tell you everything about my business. But
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
talking with you, and we're talking about raising capital for my business. Oh, open the books. I'm gonna open the books. Here's what's going
Absolutely,
on. Here's what I'm
absolutely.
trying to do. Here's my pro forma. Here, I'm gonna reveal everything, because two, three, four brains are better than one. So, and I've gotten some great solutions from investors for different problems that I've come across flipping these houses. So, just coming forth with that, I feel like that makes me a good candidate. Other than that, I've been around. I mean, I'm only 33. I say only, but that's old to some people. But I'm only 33, and I've owned service businesses. I've owned product businesses. I've had to learn Photoshop in and out. I've had to learn web design. I've had, so many different things, customer service, building CRMs, like just so many different things. So it's going to help me when it comes to building a business that's going to be bigger than what I've, dealt with before.
Mhm,
And what I mean by that is when it comes time to hiring certain people to do certain things, it's always best to have somebody that knows how that's supposed to go, or at least know, in a nutshell how that's supposed to go. That way we can kind of analyze and know if it's being done right. So just having that knowledge has really helped me um, be able to face a lot of the problems, but then also just the tenacity and like what is, for lack of a better term, stick to itiveness.
yeah, yeah,
Running running into
absolutely.
problems daily, and you just I don't let it sit on me. I don't let it bring me down. I just kind of realize it's a problem, and then I
Yeah,
say, hey, how are we gonna solve it?
yeah,
And once it's time to get on the
absolutely.
phone and say, hey, here's the problem, I'm on the phone,
Yeah.
here's the problem, here's what we got planned to solve it.
we've like I said, we've worked together for a few months now, and
Mhm.
I do remember very specifically one situation where, we had kind of all of our ducks lined up for a particular situation to take place. One of those duckies didn't make it. So I remember calling you and I'll be like, "Hey Demetrius, you know what, man? I don't think this is gonna work." And I was expecting like, like,
Mhm.
dude, what do you mean it's not gonna work? Blah, 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 whatever. You were just like, oh, well, okay, well, then let's come up with something else. I was just like, holy cow, that is almost unheard of in the business world. So yeah, that is
Yeah.
definitely another strength of yours.
Yeah, man. I think it's just like I said, I stumbled through a lot of different businesses and just even occupations. Not necessarily stumbled, but I ran into a lot of problems and it was up to me to solve them. So that built a thick skin along with, retaining some of that knowledge to say, yeah, it's a problem, but we can solve it and let's figure out how. Not here's how. I don't, I might not know right now, but we can. There's a way. Let's figure it out. And that just kind of helps me with keeping my head level. Like I don't like to get angry or get too excited. It's just, handle the business and be
Stoicism, I
excited
love
when it's
that.
time to get
Yeah.
home with the
You have
kiddos.
stoicism with the smile, bro. And that's the first time I think I've ever come across that. It's most people are either stoic and they're like stone cold faced, or
Hmm.
they're very emotional. You're the
Hmm.
very first person I've ever met that's stoic but with a smile, and I can appreciate the hell out of that.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's just been my personality, man.
Yeah. So now let's kind of switching gears back to the capital raise aspect. So, what advice would you offer to another entrepreneur who's looking to secure capital for, whatever, whether it's real estate or some other business venture, but those that may be considering working with brokers like us at BDA Solutions, what would you suggest or advice would you give them before they pick up the phone or, open up their laptops and start their search for raising capital?
So of course I would say, understand what you want to do. So understand where you like what your goal is. I knew my goal was I wanted to close on this deal. But long term, my goal is, I want to own a certain number of businesses, roll them up, call it what it would, move on. So understand what you want to do and then understand what information you should probably have ready when you do call. But then after that, it's 90% just take action. It's literally just get on the phone and call because there's I think in the beginning of our conversations, there was a lot of things I didn't know, what you were talking about. But I
Yeah.
learned it from you. You're like, hey, we need this. I said, oh, okay. I either said, okay, got off the phone and Googled it and then put it together, or had it and just called it something else. Or I said, I don't know what that is. And then you explained it and then we got it done. So just I try to be as prepared as I can be. So if there's any like information you're gonna need to submit, any like statements, anything like that that's gonna be necessary to go out and try to raise money, just have that ready because as much as you like having conversations with people and meeting new people, people are on a time crunch, so you don't want to waste,
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah, you don't want to call someone to waste their time asking them a billion questions that are Googleable. And if that ain't a word, it is today.
It is
But
right now. Yep.
so you don't want to do that. So as much as you can, try to be as prepared, at least with the information. You might not have, you might not be financially prepared for certain things with what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
But at least have as much information as you can have to submit.
Awesome.
That would probably
Awesome.
be the top thing that I would suggest.
Okay, very cool. And when you initially reached out to us, you spoke with Xavier. You spent maybe the first 2 months of our relationship kind of working with Xavier. Is there is there any specific quality or service that he provided that maybe set us apart in your experience working with BDA Solutions?
Man, I mm, that's tough because Xavier was like it was almost like calling up a friend and just saying, hey, how's it going today? How are we looking? And then he's updating me on how things are going. Or he'll call and say, hey, we need this or that, and we can kind of shoot the breeze for a little bit. And we do that as well when we
Right,
get on
right,
the
right.
phone. So it's tough to separate. But what I will say is like where you're able to it feels like you're able to have that conversation, still receive information, and then it doesn't feel like business, but business gets done.
Right.
Xavier feels like business. Xavier feels like Xavier feels like we need this, and this. Appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow. and,
There.
and
Oh,
so
I see.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like you love him. He's cool. Like I like to talk to him on the phone. I was actually like, oh dang, where did he go? Now I thought maybe he went there anymore. But he's cool to talk to. He's a lovable guy, but you definitely feel the business when he calls. It's like we need this, and that probably by tomorrow, bro. Or we not. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
well, yeah, that in all honesty, that's probably stuff that just rolls downhill because the
uh-huh.
lender has their expectations, and it's just like they have so many files that they're processing. When
Mm-hmm.
I come in, I have a not almost a sense of pride in that
Mm-hmm.
the files that I bring to my lenders, I do my very best to try to vet them and to make sure analyze them. We analyzed your
Mm-hmm.
flip deals with you, and we shared our numbers with you just to double check and make sure that what you were getting yourself into is actually going to turn a profit. But then number
Mm-hmm.
two, so that my lenders are comfortable and they know my experience, they know they have a history with me. So when I submit a file over to them, they know number one, it's going to get done. And number two, there a lot of the vetting has already been done. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I brought Xavier in, it was he took a bite of that apple and the intensity from the lenders just he was never able to process that. And so when he spoke with with clients, it was just like, we need this and this, and I've got to hurry up and I've got to get back on the phone with the lender, or I've got to move on to the next deal because they're waiting and
Yep.
we don't want them to wait. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
That was
definitely
the
a
vibe. I was
byproduct.
like, oh,
Yep.
okay, you got it, Xavier. Yep,
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
absolutely.
Well, as you look forward to, what the business opportunities that are coming up, they may be
Mhm.
blooming in the background. You might be watering those seeds, you're cultivating that soil. How do you envision capital, the raising of private capital? How large of a role is that in your success?
I'm not just looking to do some deals in real estate. Um, I'm focusing on uh, building some businesses and growing that. And with that comes revenue, it comes profits, it comes, being able to scale that to a certain point. So I might not need as much of a capital raise in the future, um, depending upon how the businesses are going and what I'm able to pull from them. But definitely on the real estate side, on initially what I'm trying to do to start the roll up or build the foundation,
Mhm.
it's vitally important because I'm not one that comes from a lot of means. So I don't have like a rich uncle to call and say, hey, I got a bright idea. Here's my documentation, here's my business plan, fund me.
Right,
So
right, right.
I have to have those conversations and I have to put together presentations that make sense to lenders or investors or potential partners. So it's very important in the beginning, which is why I do a lot of networking. I do a lot of talking with people. I don't really, I mean, it's networking, but I just talk with a lot of people and they tell me what they do and I tell them what I do. And if we are able to make something happen, that's great. But I do a lot of that just because you never know who's going to be able to help you win or who you're going to be able to help win.
Got
So like initially, yeah, it's a major part of my plan. but I don't really foresee needing to do that as much in the future. Now, real estate, I'm probably going to be partnering with people, you know,
Till the cows
forever.
come home, right? Yep.
Yeah, because I mean,
Exactly.
it just makes sense. It
Right,
just
right,
makes sense.
right, right.
If you're able to hit your numbers, take home, if you're able to hit your numbers and not take on as much risk, spread some of that risk around, but also spread some of that, uh, that upside around where you weren't going to make that money on that 10,000, 100,000, whatever. You weren't going to make that sitting in the bank. We're able to work together, and now you're able to make X amount on top. Yeah, I'm doing that all the time, just because I don't want to be spread thin with my own
Understood.
personal
Yeah,
capital.
no,
So
absolutely, absolutely. Awesome.
yeah,
Well, hey man, I appreciate your time. I've got one more question for you.
yeah,
What message or opportunity would you like to extend to private investors who might be watching this video?
man. Probably the one. Um, I wouldn't really have a message. I don't feel I'm in the position to have a message for the private lenders, but I do have an opportunity. Um, I'm in the process of building a pretty substantial roll up in the health and beauty industry. Um, I've got some pretty major plans for how big I want that to be. I've got some opportunities on the table that are kind of waiting in line for deal one to close, deal two, deal three. Um, and it would be phenomenal to have some partners to kind of go into that venture with me. I bring the experience, I bring the industry experience. That is, I bring, some a team. We know how to train. We know all of that stuff. Um, it would be phenomenal to bring someone in me that can invest and help us move smoother and faster, so that we can scale it up, grow it, and start looking at what we're going to do as far as an exit. Got a couple options in mind that we're going to look at, but it's one of those things where we'll see when we get there.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
no,
you don't
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
you don't know how you want to get out of a business until you're there. So, but it's
Awesome.
good to
Yeah.
plan it, man.
And do not sell yourself short. If anybody is watching this as from the private investor side, the Demetrius is very well qualified on the technical side. But one of the things that I'm pretty sure you're picking up watching this video, watching this man interact with me, watching this man, like the ambition that he has is second to none. This guy is, he, like I said, whether I'm talking with him, Xavier's talked to him, Lily's never talked to you, but Lily's on the backside here also with us. This guy is as easy as it comes to work with. So the work ethic's there, the technical skills are there, the ambition is there. And to be honest with you, those are the three probably most important raw ingredients that an entrepreneur needs to succeed. So again, man, I tip my hat to you. I'm really excited about
Appreciate that.
everything that you've got going on. I'm really looking forward to helping you as much as we can to get those dreams, those goals accomplished. And yeah, man, nothing but the best in the
Yeah, man,
very
I
near
appreciate it.
future and the future. You've got some kick-ass projects coming up.
I appreciate it, man. I look at it like this. And this is what I think people who are wanting to jump into entrepreneurship or even just, something crazy like that. You have to have the mentality of it's gonna get done, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when and with who, and how. So that's basically the mentality that I walk with. I'm like, we're gonna get this done. It's just a matter of when,
And
how,
how? Yep,
yes,
I
when,
absolutely
how, and that's how I look at everything. So I think that's a really good outlook. That's a way to look at things. That's my
very
kiddo.
cool. That is awesome. That's the most important part right there. So yeah, let's wrap this up, man. Is there a social media handle that you would like to share so that people can follow you, maybe get some updates on you personally, or maybe some of the projects that you've got going on? Is there somewhere that people can find you and follow you online?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think my everything I'm still building. I just took down. If you would have went to my Instagram, probably a month ago, then you would have saw all that music I was telling you about.
Okay. Okay.
But but I hid it. I archived it. Um, but my Instagram and most of my other social medias is the official Pugh, Pugh, just all straight through. But I'm gonna be updating more on my business Instagram, which is Wolfe and Eliz _INV. Um, so Wolfe and Eliz, which Wolf is spelled with the E at the end. Eliz is ELIZ _INV. I'm going to be updating that more because that's where I'm going to be talking about the roll up. That's where I'm going to be um, any type of advice that I feel like I'm able to give. That's where I'm going to give it.
Awesome.
That's where you're going to see updates on the houses and anything that goes on with the business. That's where it's going to be.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, hey, man, thank you for sharing your evening with me. I don't want to steal any more of your time from the little guy. Let's, go back to being what you do best and being a dad. And I appreciate number one, the camaraderie that we have, the friendship that we've developed, the personal and business relationships that we've developed. And I look forward to knocking out what we're working on with you right now and whatever you got coming on in the future. Looking forward to it. I really appreciate your companionship and yeah, let's keep it
Absolutely.
rocking and rolling.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you too. I'm going to have to come visit next time I'm up north.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've moved. I'm no longer in Chicago. We're now in Indiana. So you're gonna
Oh,
have to
okay.
move a little farther east for us to get together.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that'd be fine. That's no
Sounds
problem.
good. Just wait until the snow melts because right now we're
Absolutely.
absolute
We're going through
blizzards.
it down here. You see, I got the
We
turtleneck on.
no man, no, there's nothing like it is over here. We're walking icicles out here. So
Oh
let's wait
no.
until
Yeah,
this
that's
thing
rough.
falls out and then we'll talk about getting together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on this again special episode of the Broker Insider. If there are any questions, I will be posting Demetrius's contact information down below. As always, you know our website, it's bdasolutions.biz. Contact us, let us know what you've got going on, and see if there's anything that we can do for you. So until next time, guys, thank you very much, and we are out.